Tube Review.
What's up, everybody? What's up, Tube Nation? Tony Tubes coming back at you with a new Tube Review. I'm bringing them back. I've been gone for so long for my Tube Reviews, working on Silver Screen Showdown. So much stuff I've been doing. And so I decided to come back and start doing Tube Reviews again and start doing more stuff with Tube Review again. Top 10 lists, all sorts of cool stuff. It's definitely been a year in movies, and I will be releasing my top 10 of 2017 very, very soon. Sorry for the noises that my computer makes during all of this. And this is special because I'm actually doing this two ways. I'm doing it live on Facebook, and I'm also doing my YouTube video as well underneath of that. And I'm out on my porch so I can smoke because I got a lot to talk about. Because today we're going to talk about, what better way to bring back Tube Review than to talk about The Last Jedi. So we're going to talk about The Last Jedi. I went and saw it on Sunday. And so for those of you that are friends of mine on Facebook and watching this on Facebook, this is the raw, uncut Tube Review of The Last Jedi. And for those of you on YouTube, I'm sure I'll edit this down a little bit and add some pictures and some fun stuff, so you guys can check that out and have some fun with it. But yeah, so we're going to talk about The Last Jedi. So we can't talk about The Last Jedi without talking about The Force Awakens. Because The Force Awakens really set us up for a lot. There was a lot of hotly debated topics on The Force Awakens, and it set us up for so much in this movie that we all had so many expectations of this movie. And I will be serious with you guys right now. When I walked out of The Last Jedi, I contacted a couple people and I was like, it was crap. I thought it was crap. I thought that a lot of it was crap. But in thinking about it, and seeing it again, there are things that I like about it. There are pros and cons to this movie, and in my book, the cons outweigh the pros. That's all I have to say. The cons outweigh the pros very, very much so. Also, by the way, I'm doing the live Facebook thing on my laptop, so it's probably not that good of a video. So if you guys want something better, then check out the YouTube video later for pictures and editedness and all that stuff. But, The Force Awakens was good in my book. I really walked out of that movie feeling like I watched a Star Wars movie and feeling like the Star Wars movie that I saw was very good, on par with the originals, a very good sequel. So, at the end, and the thing is about The Force Awakens was I seriously was waiting for Luke. The entire movie, I was waiting for Luke. And I tell you what, man, it really, the opening crawl of The Force Awakens, Luke Skywalker has disappeared. And it's like, fuck, we're not going to see this asshole the whole movie. And so we're going through the movie, and finally it gets to the end, and, we've all seen The Force Awakens. The end was spectacular in my book. I teared up, cried, the whole thing in the theater when I saw Luke Skywalker turn around and give Rey that look. And it was just this look of, I don't even know, confusion, loneliness, fear, a lot of stuff. It was just frustration. And it really set us up for this next one. It really did. And so, this movie, I've been waiting 2 years for it. And I tell you what, Rian Johnson really took hold of this movie in his own way. And it wasn't the way that I thought it was going to go. It wasn't the way that I really wanted it to go. There were things about it that I think if you fixed, it would have been a better movie. And I am not a director, and stuff like that, but I am a storyteller. And I just think that the story itself was lacking in a lot of ways. The story itself was filled up too much with certain things, and we'll get into all that here in just a minute. But, let's talk about Luke, because Luke above Han Solo, above Darth Vader, Boba Fett, above all of them, Luke Skywalker was my hero. Luke Skywalker has always been my hero. You know, that was the one that I always went to in the ways of Star Wars, because he was the main guy, and it was about him. It was about his journey and the people that he met along the way. And so when I saw Luke in this movie, he's crotchety, he's old, and yeah, of course he's going to be old. Great. So was Ben Kenobi. Ben Kenobi was old in the first Star Wars movie as well. So, you know, I can look past that. You know, that's not something that I have issues with, is that he's old. You know, he's the Jedi Master, though. And he was so just too crotchety for me and too against everything and just turn that music down, you know, just like, seriously, man, it got borderline really, really frustrating for me how just against everything he was. He was very contrary to everything, and trying to tell Rey this, that, and the other thing about this, that, and the other thing about the Force, and it didn't work for me. It didn't work for me how Luke was throughout the entire fucking movie, really, with the exception of a couple things, and we'll get into that. So, you know, I've watched the Screen Junkies review on this with Roth Cornett and Dan Merle, and I've also watched Kevin Smith's review on this, so I might be bringing some stuff up that I heard from them. Kevin Smith nailed it on the head when he called, and I think I've heard this before, when he called Kylo Ren an emo, the emo Skywalker, and I completely agree with that, because, you know, I completely agree with that. So, the thing about it is, I have notes. And I'm sorry, this might be a little lengthy, but I have notes. Alright. He throws the lightsaber. This is spoilers, by the way. Spoilers. Okay, spoilers. Spoilers. He throws the lightsaber over the cliff. The opening scene with the space battle with Poe in the X-Wing and stuff like that was really, really cool. I think General Hux is, I really agree with Dan Merle and Roth Cornett in the ways that he's just a fucking cartoon character. I mean, he was just so over the top. He's like Calgon from Space Mutiny and Mystery Science Theater. Come on, Skull, pop out of my skin. You know, it was just, he was too ridiculous for me, General Hux was. Another thing I had issues with in the movie, I am not saying that it should have been a dark, dreary movie that shouldn't have had any comedic relief at all. I am not saying that whatsoever. There's certain times and places for that comedy to come out, and I just think like that opening thing with Poe and General Hux. Hello, I'm still holding for General Hux, and it drug on. It was like Peter Griffin's like it just, I was sitting there just kind of like, all right, guys, let's get on with the movie here. This is a Star Wars movie. Let's go. It's not Dumb and Dumber. And so that kind of, but that opening fight scene in space and everything was amazing. That was a great opening scene. And the Star Destroyers in the sky, when they see them, when they're down on the planet and they look up and they see the Star Destroyers like come into the atmosphere in the hyperspace and stuff. God, that looked really cool. Like, it looked really creepy, you know? Like, that's something that you could look at and you could look up and see, and it was really, really cool. I really, really thought that was a cool aspect of it, but yeah, I mean, you know, that opening scene was really, really good, except for the Poe and Hux thing. I wasn't really too keen on that. I really liked when Snoke came, you know, his hologram came out and started talking to him and started fucking him up and everything, and you kind of, right there, you kind of see, okay, Snoke has a little bit more of the Force than we thought that he did. We didn't really know if he had the Force, but he did train Kylo Ren a little bit, so he should have some Force capabilities. So I'm saying, hey, hurrah, we got Force capabilities in Snoke. And that was another hotly debated character, was Snoke. We'll get to him in a second. But going to Luke on top of the mountain, getting the lightsaber, I finally get to see what Luke Skywalker's gonna do or say to Rey when she hands him this. I've been waiting 2 fucking years for this. And what do I get? He throws it over the fucking and I'm sorry, I have to say this. I'm in the theater the first time, and just a bunch of douchebags sitting around me. And they are laughing at everything and talking through a bunch of shit. Oh, that looks like crap. Oh, I don't know. They were fanboys or douchebags, douchebag fanboys, something like that. But it was just, you know, I didn't find everything as funny as like the audience did. He throws it over and everybody's like, "Ha!" And I'm like, "What? What the fuck? What the fuck just happened? What the fuck just happened? Why did he just?" You know, and so that happened, and then he refers to it as a light sword, a laser sword. Come on, man. This is Luke Skywalker. It's Luke Skywalker. And he calls it a laser sword. And it just, oh, that hit the wrong spots for me, man. It just hit the wrong spots for me. And then we get into the crotchetiness of him, and Rey's just frustrated through the whole movie, and so it's really hard to, you know, to really go for her because she's so goddamn frustrated through the whole movie. I'm just going to check my notes here. Okay, yeah, that was another thing, was Finn and Rose. And I heard Merle talk about this a little bit, but that whole story between Finn and Rose did not need to be there at all. You could have taken Finn and Rose completely out of this movie, and it would have ended up the exact same way, except for they were down 2 speeder pilots at the end. That's it. There was absolutely no reason for it. Every time I thought that they were going to do something that was actually going to be legitimate to the plot, they didn't. It was thwarted. So Finn and Rey were the Gilligans of this movie, because every single thing that they tried, they ended up screwing up in some way, shape, or form. And at the end, when Finn was about ready to battle ram his way through that, you know, into that big cannon and stuff, I was ready. I mean, I'm not saying that I don't like Finn and I want him to die and everything, but I was ready for him to go. I was ready for him to sit there and take one for this and get his redemption against the First Order and do this thing. And, you know, because at the point where he was about ready to sacrifice himself, I was sitting there going, wow, something's got to happen with these guys, because nothing has turned out right for them. Nothing that they have done has done anything, and these guys got to be discouraged as fuck right now. So that's what he wanted to do, and then Rose sideswipes him, brings his ass down, and I don't understand why she had to do that. Why they had to do that. They took away his Randy Quaid moment, his Independence Day moment. That would have been perfect, but no. And so the Finn and Rose story, gathering the fact that Finn is a cool character and Rose is I don't know, she was all right. She was kind of annoying to me. I really didn't warm up to her character as much as I thought I was going to. So that whole sequence with them, well, not sequence, that whole story with them trying to go behind enemy lines and do this and do that and finding Benicio del Toro and everything like that, and it all just culminated to nothingness. And so that was very discouraging to the story, and it just made it drag on. And that was one of the things I heard about before I even watched it, was that the movie drags in the middle, and that was a big part of that drag, was the Finn and Rose story. And I just wish they would have done it a little better. I just wish that something that they would have done would have actually made a difference. So, Snoke. Such anticipation for Snoke. You know, who is he? Is he Mace Windu? Is he Darth Vader? You know, is he fucking, you know, who is Snoke? There was so much speculation that we were, you know, put into with this character, and then all of a sudden he was just this obligatory bad guy. That's all he was. Just the obligatory bad guy. You know, he's got the Force, yes, but I mean, it was very, all of a sudden it was just like, oh, he was just some diehard bad guy that wasn't as cool as Hans Gruber. You know, that's what he ultimately turned out to be. You know, and like Kevin Smith said, kill his ass off in the third movie. Why do you have to do it right now? But You know, it's Rian Johnson's movie. He's setting up a story. I don't know why they're fucking doing this. JJ put a good story out there. Then Ryan, whatever the fuck his name is, Rian Johnson, whatever the hell his name is, he comes in and completely just kind of obliterates the first story with all this new shit and killing off all this stuff, and now JJ's taking it back over. Now he has to clean up this mess. You know, JJ set up such a cool story. It could have gone so many different ways after that. And there was so much speculation about this, that, or the other thing. And now this Ryan guy just comes in and just completely decimates all of that. And now JJ has to come in here and finish it. And so I just don't think it was necessary. I think JJ should have done the entire trilogy and just see where he would have taken it. I would have liked to have seen where JJ would have taken this. And even if the story was similar, I think that JJ would have put some different stuff in, and maybe, I don't know, it would have been a lot different. It would have been completely different. So, let me take a drink out of my Riddler glass here. So Snoke, you know, all of a sudden he dies. That was kind of cool, you know, seeing Ren do the whole Force thing with the lightsaber and take out Snoke. But it was like, first of all, the whole Ren and Rey thing, between them talking to each other and stuff like that, with the shirtless scene with his pepperoni nips and all that shit, it was almost kind of like, almost like fucking Twilight. I'm sorry to compare this movie to Twilight, but it was almost like, Jesus Christ, just bite this chick already. Jesus Christ, just figure it out already, Kylo, with your emo ass. Just figure this shit out already, because I'm sick and tired. It's like fucking Jedi by Sybil. It's just it's just back and forth. Oh, we're friends, we're not friends, but we're friends. Now we're not friends. Now we're enemies. Now we're not enemies. And it's just like, Jesus fuck Christ, make up your goddamn mind. You know, I'm sick and tired of watching this guy go through his fucking first midlife crisis, and that's honestly not what I want in a bad guy from Star Wars. I mean, Darth Vader was such a presence that nothing can top that in my book. But he doesn't need to top it. But he needs to be menacing, and you need to believe that this guy can win. And I don't believe that this guy can win. I think that he's just going to be a little bitch pooter through the entire thing, and then finally at the end something's going to happen. And so, you know, I have not really liked the Kylo Ren character thus far. I was satisfied with the end of the last one, sort of. Because, see, here's my thing about the last one is when they're out in the snow in the woods fighting that last final battle, Finn and Rey versus Ren. When the lightsaber's in the snow and you see that thing fly up, you think Ren's going for it. But then it flies past Ren, and then Rey grabs it and she starts fucking going off on him and shit. See, I didn't want that to happen. This is what I wanted. I wanted that lightsaber. When that thing flew up out of the snow, I figured Luke was going to grab that thing, fucking slice fucking Ren's head off. Slice his goddamn head off. But no, didn't get it. That's fine. It was a good ending to The Force Awakens. But I don't really like the character of Kylo Ren, so I'm not really that interested in his sobbings between Rey and him. I just want somebody, you know, I'm kind of like an orphan and stuff, and I kind of orphaned myself, but I'm mad, but I'm not, and he's just so pissy all the time that I love Rey so much that I'm like, don't go with this guy. I don't like him. I don't like him. I don't like him. I don't like him at all. And so in this movie, when, you know, they're, you know, fucking Jedi by Sybil in the Supreme Leader's chambers and stuff like that, okay. But then, okay, so Snoke dies. And then all of a sudden, they say a couple of flowery things to each other, and then all of a sudden, here come the guards, and the guards are coming up. And there's like maybe fucking 10 of them. Maybe 10 of them? Maybe 10 guards. And everybody's like, oh my gosh, it's like the greatest like lightsaber battle in the history of Star Wars movies. And I'm like, no, it's not. It really wasn't. Because first of all, I don't want to see this Ren guy get a good name. I think he's a whiny little brat, and he needs to go away. Somebody needs to chop his fucking head off. Okay, that's what I think needs to happen with Ren. Okay? And so when they go back to back, okay, that was kind of cool. They're going to fight all these guys and stuff. But then honestly, it was like a 10-minute battle. 10 minutes. This guy can put people in forced chokeholds with his hands and his brain, and she can do stuff. They can both do all this stuff. They're both like really good fighters and stuff like that. And then all of a sudden, it takes them like 10 minutes to dispatch like 10 of these dudes with their lightsabers and their force knowledge. It takes them 10 minutes to dispatch these guys. Come the fuck on. That gave me like a Quantum of Solace type vibe when Daniel Craig is beating the hell out of that little punk. But they're like fighting, and it's like this little guy is nothing. He's like this little bureaucratic bitch, and it's taken James Bond this long to dispatch this guy. It took Rey and Ren that long to dispatch those dudes. I don't fucking buy it. I don't buy it for a second. And I was just kind of like, nah. The Darth Maul fight scene was better than that with Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon and Darth Maul. That was a better fucking fight scene than this one was. Okay, it wasn't that great. So, where are we at? Fight scene, all that stuff. Let's see. Campy. It felt, like I said earlier, the humor fell on sour notes with me. It really did. The humor just did not really... I didn't really react to the humor as well as I thought I was going to. I really wanted to laugh at things, but it was... How do I say this? It was too touched by Disney. It really was. Like, I can feel Disney's grip on this thing. And I don't like it. I don't like it. It just seemed way too much. In the ways of campiness, they completely underused Chewie. Pretty much everything that Chewie did was supposed to be for comic relief, and I just didn't buy it. Not a bit. I didn't like the fact that Chewie was minimalized to this, oh, we're supposed to be happy because it's Chewie, but at the same time, we're just going to throw him in there with these porgs that had no business being in the movie. You know, it was like... When you saw, like, when you walked into Mos Eisley's cantina in A New Hope, or when they walked into Jabba's palace and stuff like that, yeah, there was some characters where they were, you know, stuff like that, but at the same time, there are all these creatures that were, you know, Gamorrean guards and Bib Fortuna and you know, all these different things that it was dark, it was, you know, scum and villainy and stuff like that, and there was just too many huggable characters for me. Too many huggable characters for me when they walked into these places and stuff. So that kind of jolted me a little bit. Too many huggable characters, and I was just like, I don't know, man. I want to see some like wretched slime scumbag aliens in these places and stuff, and they were all just so adorable, and there's iced snow dogs, and there's porgles, and all sorts of shit, and it was like, I don't know, dude. We're bringing it back to fucking Lucas days here, man. That's what we're doing with all that crap. We're bringing it back to Lucas and shit, and I don't like it. I didn't like it. So, it was just too... The humor was off, too campy for me. You know, the things that I was supposed to be laughing at, I wasn't laughing at. I thought that the Chewbacca thing with the porgs was honestly kind of terrible. Like, in the ways of him, like, ready to eat a fucking porg in front of the porgs. I was just kind of like, well, what? It was just so much filler, man, and it didn't need to be. Like I said, might as well bring a Conway Twitty song and put in there. You know? What's the next? What's next on the list? Fuck porgs. Alright, let's see. Alright, Leia. Let's go back to Leia. Leia was cool. I kept hearing from people and from sources that they were going to give a good ending to Princess Leia. So, when she is blown out of the bridge, I figured, well, she went out in battle. Okay, she went out in battle. She might not even be dead, but she's probably pretty fucking close. You know, and so, but then she did her Superman move, coming on in, and I didn't quite. I mean, everybody's, oh, the Force can't do that. We don't know. Like Roth Cornett said from the Screen Junkies, there's so much out there. There's so much lore out there when it comes to the Jedis and what they're capable of doing. And then Kevin Smith even said the Jedi's capabilities are limited to whatever the writer of that particular Star Wars movie wants to have them be. So have them do. So, you know, all the stuff that the Jedi could do in this movie that was new, that didn't bug me as much. You know, that whole thing was just, I just thought it was really cheesy. I mean, it would have been one thing if she just stayed alive out there and they, you know, went and picked her up and then she was still alive. You know, that would have been cool, but her Superman thing into the ship was kind of cheesy. It just kind of was. And I honestly think, and I'm not alone in this, but her and Laura Dern's character should have flipped. She should have been the one that had that awesome scene where they take the freighter through pretty much through Snoke's ship, and that was really, really cool. And that should have been Leia's. That should have been Leia's outing right there, because we don't know what the hell she's going to be doing in episode 9 now. You know, if they even have anything from Carrie Fisher. I know that Carrie Fisher's family has given them the ability to pretty much do anything they want. But that would have been so cool to see Leia go out like that. But you can't kill everybody off. Kill Leia off. Why you gotta kill Luke off? Why does, you know, I know that Luke's not dead. He's a Force ghost now and all that shit. But let me just make sure I'm not getting too ahead of myself here. Yes, we are where I need to be. Okay, Luke's ending. Here is my wish how that should have played out at the end with Luke. Okay? This is Luke Skywalker here. Alright? And we have not seen Luke Skywalker draw a lightsaber since Return of the Jedi. It's been so many years since, you know, what has it been, like, you know, 35 years since Jedi came out. And so when Luke comes walking out, like, I was so just kind of, I didn't know what to think of this movie at that point in time. And then all of a sudden, you know, they screw up, you know, Finn doesn't get to blow up the thing that blows up the door blows up, and then Luke shows up. And I'm like, Luke's gonna come in here, he's gonna fucking save the day. That's what's gonna happen. Luke's gonna come in here, he's gonna fucking save the day. So Luke walks out. Ren sees him. Fire everything you got on him. So he fire everything they got on him. Of course he's a Jedi. He could probably fucking take it. He could probably, you know, fucking do all that shit and everything. Alright, so he walks out of it unscathed. And then another missed beat point of comedy where he walks out and he goes, I didn't find that funny. It was too serious of a moment, and he comes out with that. No, I'm sorry, no. And then fucking Ren goes, I'm going down to him. Alright, here we go. Face-off time. Courtside, front row, motherfucker. Let's see this happen. Let's watch this fight. So Ren comes at him. They say some flowery shit to each other. Ren comes at him with his lightsaber. Misses him 3 times. Then all of a sudden, Luke says some flowery shit about the Force. And you realize he's not even there. He's not even there. He's back on his planet. He's back on the Jedi planet. They Twilight escaped from LA, Total Recalled our ass, man. He wasn't even there. What the fuck? He says some flowery shit, pretty much goes, ha ha. Ren goes, no, when he realizes that all the rebels have gone away because Luke was just stalling for them. And then that's it. And then he dies because he's done this thing that nobody else has ever seen a Jedi do. Like I said, I don't care. You can project yourself all you fucking want. All I'm saying is that I wanted to fight. I wanted Luke Skywalker, when he pulled out that fucking sword, dude, his hologram pulled out that lightsaber. Oh, my butthole puckered up a little bit. Just a little bit. I'm just saying. It really did. And I was really excited. But then they just completely smashed it down with this whole, oh, he's peaceful, and he's not going to do this, and he's not going to do that. Fuck, man. I'm sorry. I understand where they wanted to go with that. I understand the implications of everything. But bullshit. Bullshit. It's crap. That was crap. You want to know what should have happened? Here's what should have happened. Luke Skywalker should have walked out of that bunker. And Kylo Ren says, fire everything you got on him. And one of two things should have happened right there. Either Luke pulls out his lightsaber and deflects all these big fucking cannon fires right back at all these things and destroys them all. Or he basically just looks up and they all just like Magneto just drop. Just drops them all with the Force. Ren fucking crawls out of the wreckage. Either way, Ren crawls out of the wreckage, comes out, fucking swords blazing, lightsabers blazing, and then they fucking duel. They fight it out. And Luke doesn't even have to win. It would be awesome if he would cut that little son of a bitch's head off, like I want to see. But no, they were not going to do that because it's a Disney movie, okay? So they have to use peace. But no, they should have fought. And then Luke, in fighting, buys them time. And then they kind of get to a standstill where they have a couple opportunities to talk to each other. Luke can explain to him what's going on. And then Ren can strike him down and Luke can die that way. That could have happened. And that would have been awesome. That would have been a great way for Luke Skywalker to go out. Even if he says, I can't do this, I will not fight you anymore, and he goes to the peaceful side, like they're trying to do, we still would have gotten a fight out of it. Ben Kenobi and Darth Vader had a better fight in A New Hope than they had in this movie. And Ben Kenobi sacrificed himself. That Luke Skywalker, that would have been the perfect way for Luke Skywalker to go out, was for him to sacrifice himself fighting Ren. That should have been how that ended. Not Luke just projects himself across fucking the universe to a planet and all of a sudden he says some flowery shit, he ducks a couple lightsabers, and then he dies. That's not my Luke Skywalker. And it was saddening to see him go out like that. He went out like a bitch. Like a bitch. Rian Johnson, he went out, my hero went out like a bitch. That guy better do some awesome shit in this next movie as a Force ghost. I tell you. I tell you. Cigarette keeps going out. But, so, and then you got the little boy at the end. The little boy at the end. With the broom and stuff. Oh, he's got the Force. Oh, there's more Jedi out there, and the Force is for everybody. It doesn't have to stay within the Skywalker clan or anything like that. The Force is out there. Okay, cool, but we're getting into Phantom Menace territory here now. Now we're going to have a movie that's going to have a fuck kid in it. We're going to have to worry about this little kid, this little snotty-ass kid. We don't need a kid yet. All right? Save that for episode 10. All right? Let this trilogy play out without any urchins. Okay? That's, So, those were the cons about it. I do have, there are things about it that I liked. And I will get into those right now. As soon as my computer stops being a dick. All right. Yoda. When Yoda comes out, I was very, very happy, first of all, that Yoda was a puppet. They didn't CGI him. Of course, they put a CGI force shadow around him and shit, but that was cool. And he had some good things to say. It was master and apprentice again. It was really cool. And you saw Luke come out. You saw Luke come out in that. The Luke that we remember, not this old crotchety asshole that doesn't want to have anything to do with anything. You saw Luke come out. And that was really cool to me, was watching Luke come out and talk to Yoda, and that was really nice. It was a really cool little thing, and they had some, throw some flowery language at each other, and it was good. It was good writing. That scene was really good, and it really brought out a lot in Mark Hamill, as well as the character of Yoda, and just the story altogether. That was a good little part of the story for me. So I liked the whole, like I said, when I saw Luke with his lightsaber, just any time where, Luke acted like Luke Skywalker again. I was so sick and tired of him throughout that whole movie, because he was just so contrary to everything. So I'm glad that there were instances where you felt that again, or at least I felt that again, I felt that Star Wars hope again. In the ways of acting, as well as the way the movie looked, it was beautiful. Spend $200 million on a movie, it's going to look beautiful. Rian Johnson did a good job directing in that way. And I thought that the cast did a good job in the ways of acting. It was solid performances by everybody. Nice to see, Mark Hamill stretch a little bit. It was just the wrong kind of stretch for me. It just really was. So, no complaints there. The music was okay. It was a Star Wars movie, and I heard Merle and Roth talk about this a little bit, but to me, in the original movies, there was so much. There were certain themes for certain situations and certain people, and those themes were regurgitated throughout the entire movie. The entire trilogy and stuff like that. So you got used to that being the score of these movies. And I think that The Force Awakens really, did a good job of introducing a couple new themes, like Rey's theme and ding, 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 ding. That little Rey's theme and stuff like that. That stuff is cool, but it just seemed they have too many themes now. There's too many themes for too many people, for too many situations, and it just kind of, but the music was still good. It was very well done, John Williams. I just think there's too many themes for people now, and I don't know, maybe that's just my fanboy coming out and stuff. And like Kevin Smith said, they really just kind of, Rey's parents, that was a big old thing. Captain Phasma, that was a big old thing. Ren's mask, all this stuff, Snoke, all this stuff just put to bed. They just put a lot of this shit to bed in this movie. And like Phasma was supposed to be like the new Boba Fett. Like that was what I got out of the whole Captain Phasma thing, was she was supposed to kind of be the new Boba Fett and everything. And I think that would have been really, really cool. But man, she had a cool fight scene and stuff like that. But at the same time, they really just kind of nixed that whole thing. Just kind of said, okay, well, here she is. Now she's gone. Forget about her. Don't worry about her. So that was kind of irritating, but Captain Phasma fight was pretty cool. So I'm on board for that. I was on board for that and everything. Like I said, there was certain things about it that I liked. There were certain moments where there was feelings there with the characters that, we haven't seen in a while, and that I was really happy to see again. But overall, man, the movie was it was so much compacted into this movie, but at the same time, it didn't have to be. I don't know what you would have had Finn and the girl, Rose. I don't know what you would have had them do otherwise. I have no idea about that. But I just know that nothing they did worked. They tried all these different things and nothing worked for them. So it didn't need to be in there. There was just, it was just a very, very, so many times where I was waiting for it. And like, let's say that the Luke Skywalker thing at the end happened the way that I wanted it to happen. He comes out, he uses the Force, knocks all these things out, and then him and Kylo battle it out so everybody can get away, and then he holds his lightsaber up and Kylo strikes him down and he becomes a Force ghost. If that happened, I'd be a lot happier with this movie. It just, so many things came to a climax, and then all of a sudden everything was just pulled back from you. And not in a good way. There are good twists and good little turns in the road that happen, but I just didn't care for a lot of them in this one. You know, a lot of the things that are like, no, we're not, no. I was irritated by a lot of it. So that's kind of my take on The Last Jedi. I want to watch it a third time. I would like to see it a third time, but God, man, it did not give me the same feelings as The Force Awakens. You know, and I just think I am a big fan of practical effects. I'm a big fan of, the original movie was so undercut in the ways of Hollywood. Nobody wanted to make that damn movie. And, George Lucas ended up getting rich off of it and everything, off of that fact right there. But I want to say that this movie almost didn't take itself seriously enough. J.J. Abrams is a fan. I don't know if Rian Johnson is. Is that his fucking name? Ryan. Whatever the hell his name is. I think it's Rian Johnson. But the director, I don't think that he's a fan of what he can do with it. He's not a fan of what's already been done. And it just, you could see that play out. It didn't feel like a Star Wars movie. The Force Awakens felt like a Star Wars movie. The humor was there when it needed to be, and it was great. The stormtroopers, fuck that, and walking away, and there was a lot of really cool stuff in that movie, in the ways of just the way that they blended it all together into a Star Wars movie. And I don't think this one was blended that well. I really don't. And I understand completely. If you like the movie, if you love the movie, I have had to deal with the fact that there's an entire generation of people out there that love the prequels. I've had to deal with that for as long as I can remember now. So I can deal with the fact that there are people out there that like this movie and they like the decisions that the director made. I personally didn't like that. Didn't like a lot of it. I thought that a lot of it was not the right choices to make. And that might be my fanboy coming out, but it's the truth. So I don't, I usually give a 1 to 5 star rating for movies and stuff like that. And I am torn between 2 and 3 stars. Maybe I'll give it 3 just because there were instances in there where I did see some of, I did feel some of the things that I used to feel. And so I think that deserves a 3 right there. But I cannot give it any higher than that. It was, it was all right. But honestly, it was kind of worse than all right too. So I'll give it 3 out of 5 stars. But man, that's a tough one. That's a really tough one to not give it 2 stars, man, because it just hit a lot of wrong chords with me. So 3 out of 5, tube thumbs up for Star Wars: The Last Jedi. Good to see you guys again. If you guys want to fight with me about it, I don't really want to fight with anybody about it, but if you want to tell me I'm an asshole, put it in the comments below. If you want to agree with me, whatever you want to do, let me know what you guys think. And yeah, I mean, just, I respect everybody's opinion and everything. It's good to see you guys. Good to be back on Tube Review. Sorry I don't have my Tube Review shelf, but I got something for now until I get my Tube Review shelf back. So it's been wonderful. Have a Merry Christmas. I'm going to be releasing my my top 10 movies of the year very soon. And I don't know if this one's going to make it. I don't know if The Last Jedi is going to make it or not. So you guys have a good day. I'm going to go make some gingerbread houses with my girls because it's their birthday today. So you guys have a good one. Tony Tubes signing out. Tube Review. Good to be back.
Tube Review.